Today I'm going to be ranking every Aquaman character from worst to best. As always, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started. Alright, so coming in at number 4 is going to be Silver Aquaman. Silver Aquaman is definitely not the worst silver character out there, but he's also not that great. There is one guy out there on YouTube called Sergio who did use Silver Aquaman to be doing a lot of damage in raids. However, from the gameplay that I saw, the only time Silver Aquaman really did do a lot of damage was only when he had the all blades, and he only really used them in P1, at least most of the time, and he only barely finished P1. So I guess you can't really say that Silver Aquaman has a secret damage multiplier, just because pretty much any character out there can finish P1 with the all blades. Now let's look at his passives. Silver Aquaman only has one passive, but it has two different parts to it. The first part gives extra stun resistance to the entire team per might teammate, and the second part gives extra defense for the entire team per metahuman teammate. I actually really enjoy the defense part of this passive just because chances are if you're going to use Silver Aquaman, you're a beginner, and a beginner isn't going to have all the reforges in the world to be adding defense to their characters so they don't die really quickly. Of course, with this passive you are going to need a specific class of character. However, just because Silver Aquaman does give a good amount of defense per metahuman teammate, I really do feel like it's worth it if you're a beginner. Mine is only at level 4 and it gives 16% extra defense. So if you add 2 metahuman teammates, that's going to be 32% defense. So for beginners, this is going to save them 2 gear talents, and I actually think that's pretty good. Moving on to his special abilities, his special 1 and his special 3 doesn't have any sort of buffs or effects. However, his special 2 does do dot damage. It is a hazard, which means that the only time it's going to be doing dot damage is when the opponent is actually inside of that hazard, but it's also going to be power draining at the exact same time. However, I'm not entirely sure why I kind of enjoy this character. I don't really use him that much, but I really like his special 2 because it really disables the opponent and it's going to be doing dot damage on top of the power drain that it's going to be doing. His special 3 does do a decent amount of damage, and of course his passive makes it so that you don't really have to worry about defense. I feel like if you're a beginner, this character is actually pretty good. Okay, maybe good is a strong word. This guy is not going to be breaking any records or anything like that, but he's also not the worst character in the world. It's just unfortunate that he's the worst Aquaman character in the game. Now moving on to number 3 is going to be Justice League Aquaman. Okay, this character is actually good and he does have his place in the game, especially in the Justice League team, because what he does for the Justice League team is he gives them 100% armor pierce on their basic attack hits. Now this part of his passive is really great in arena just because many opponents are going to have really high defense, and it's also pretty good in raids and in solo raids. It's just that some of the bosses that you're going to fight aren't going to have super high defense. So even though this passive is going to help you do a lot of damage, there might be some better characters out there that are going to help out your Justice League team. But you also have to realize that if you're going to add Justice League Aquaman, he's also going to be getting the buffs of his Justice League team, so it just might be worth it to put Justice League Aquaman aside from everybody else, because he's also going to be doing a lot of damage with his basic attack hits. Sometimes it honestly just depends on the situation that you're in, but that does not mean that Justice League Aquaman is a bad character. Okay, so that was the first part of his passive. What the second part of his passive does is whenever one of his teammates dies, whenever Justice League Aquaman uses his super move, it will bring back one of his fallen teammates with 30% health. Moving on, if we go look at his special abilities, his special 1 and his special 3 doesn't have any sort of buffs or effects, but his special 2 does reduce the power generation for the opponent whenever you use it. However, I don't really use this too often just because my Justice League Aquaman is built as a tank, and also if you do use this special ability and you do dampen the power generation of the opponent, they could just tag out and tag somebody else in that doesn't have that negative buff on them. So it's kind of a waste of energy sometimes when you use this special ability. I would just rather use Justice League Cyborg Special 2 or Justice League Flash's Special 3. Anyways, if you want to get Justice League Aquaman, it might be easy or it might be hard. It really just depends how well you do in the arena, because he pops up in the arena seasons. And you can also get his gears off of the arena store. In addition, me personally, I've I've never gotten any Justice League Aquaman shards off of raid drops, but I have gotten his gears. Justice League Aquaman as a solo character is a decent character, however, you really want to optimize this character by using him with the Justice League team, and that's why he's coming in at number 3. Moving on to number 2 is going to be Atlantean Armored Aquaman. AAA Batteries is one of my favorite characters out there because he is very, very diverse. And even though he's not going to be breaking any damage records, I honestly just cannot complain because this character does so many different things. Alright, so starting off with his passive, it is very, very simple. Whenever you use one of his special abilities, it will heal up himself and the entire team. And the amount that this is going to heal up is going to be just about 5,000 health. And think about that. That's going to be every single time that you use a special ability, so this guy and his entire team will pretty much never die. On top of that, if we go look at his special abilities, his special 1 does do armor pierce, and his special 2, oh my god, I love this guy's special 2. Alright, keep in mind that when you use a special 2, again, it's going to trigger his passive, so it's going to be doing healing, and on top of that, it does dot damage and it does power drain. This special ability is a hazard, but the hazard is really, really big. So it is very, very easy to get the opponent inside of that hazard. And when you do, you're going to be crippling them with dot damage, and you're also going to be taking away a bunch of their power bars with your power drain. And finally, if we go look at his special 3, it doesn't have any sort of special buffs or any sort of special effects. However, his special 3 does do a good amount of damage. So with all that being said, when you throw this character into Arena, I really don't care who stands in my way. Atlantean Armored Aquaman, and I really like to use Predator Batman with this character, is going to absolutely demolish any legendary team or any team. I believe Ancestral does have the highest threat team out there, and his entire team is legendary, and they are super, super tanky. And I've managed to defeat them with my Atlantean Armored Aquaman and my Predator Batman. I will say that for the team that I use, Atlantean Armored Aquaman is very easily the main character in that team, just because that dot damage, that power drain, that healing is really, really great. Another thing that makes this character really, really good is that you can get his shards off of the campaign, so you don't have to go test your luck in any chests or anything like that. In addition, you can also get his shards off of raid drops. As for his gears, you can unlock it off of the campaign. However, I'm not entirely sure if you can get them off of raid drops. I personally have never gotten them. Atlantean Armored Aquaman is definitely one of the most diverse characters out there, and there's absolutely no denying that he is a really good and a really fun character, and that's why he's coming in at number 2. Alright, so no surprise here, coming in at number 1 is going to be King of Atlantis Aquaman. If there's any character in this game that's super popular and just everybody knows about him and everybody wants to get him, it is King of Atlantis Aquaman. I'm not really going to give too much of my personal opinion for King of Atlantis Aquaman just because I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same as yours, and everybody just agrees that this character is really, really good. Starting off with his special abilities, his special 1 and his special 2 does not have any sort of special effects. However, his special 3 is really where this character shines, because 3 times per battle, when you use the special ability, it will take away a percentage of the opponent's health, and this also applies for raids, and that's going to be on top of the regular damage that he's going to be doing with his special 3. And because this special effect is applied to a special ability, it really doesn't matter if you have this character at 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars, or whatever, this is still going to be doing a lot of damage. Now let's talk about his passives. His passive 1 makes it so that every single time that you use a special ability, it will increase the amount of attack that King of Atlantis Aquaman will have. His special 1 will increase his damage by 50%, and his special 2 and his special 3 will increase the amount of damage he does by 100%, and this maxes out at 600%. Moving on to his passive 2, whenever King of Atlantis Aquaman uses his super move, it will disable the opponent's super move for 1 minute, and it will also power drain them. And finally, his passive 3 makes it so that whenever King of Atlantis Aquaman dies, according to how many power bars he has, he will come back to life. Every single power bar will count for 10% of his health. In addition, if you want to get King of Atlantis Aquaman shards and his gear, they will be located on the League store, and on top of that, they also drop off of raid drops. Again, I really don't need to explain why this character is so good. He does a lot of damage, he is very, very easy to use, even if you're a beginner and even if you only have him at 3 stars, and he is also very, very easy to get. Also, because of his passive 2 and his passive 3, AoE, this guy is very hard to kill, so you only really need to focus on damage stats on his gear talents and not really have to worry about defense or health. One quick little nitpick, I know most characters in this game don't have this anymore, and it's a really big shame. However, just because King of Atlantis Aquaman is really popular and almost everybody builds him, I would have liked it if this character had a different look when you reach level 60 gears. I'm not saying he looks bad or anything, I just feel like everybody loves it when their characters have that LED stuff on them and they glow. It just looks really badass, alright? Add some RGB to him, I don't know. I just kind of wish that he would have had a little bit of a different look. Maybe he could have glowed orange or green in some areas. I don't really know. All I know is that if you add RGB to anything, it will increase the FPS by 20. If you're not a PC gamer, you probably didn't understand that joke, but whatever. Anyways, guys, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a nice day, stay safe and stay clean, and I'll see you guys later.